Do you remember what you were doing on 9/11? Neither do I. I wasn't born yet, and I can assume much of my classmates weren't either. Um, but for everyone I do ask, they always seem to know exactly what they were doing and exactly what happened that day. But what a lot of them fail to realize is 9/11 would have a bad domino effect on millions and millions of people across the globe. The reason I believe y'all should hear me out on the topic I have today is because it is very important surrounding war and the killing of innocent people. And I believe that is something that can happen to any of us, which is why I believe we should inform ourselves on topics like these so we can avoid um, being in situations like this. I will be going over the war in Iraq and some facts about it. I will be going over why America got into the war, how they benefited, and I will also be going over how Iraq was affected by the war. The reason I believe this affects me is the same way it affects everyone. We are all civilians who are capable of being affected by war. And I believe informing ourselves on this topic is very important because we are able to educate more and more other people so we can avoid an event like this. The first topic I'll be going over is how America got into the war. One of the big reasons America got into the war was the PTSD almost from 9/11. They wanted to fight. Someone had to pay for 9/11, and obviously Bush was looking into Iraq because Saddam Hussein, which was Iraq's prime minister, had ties with Al Qaeda, the group that was allegedly responsible for doing 9/11. Saddam also was, he was accused of forming weapons of mass destruction. Another reason America had gotten into the war with Iraq was past hostilities during the Gulf War, which had happened 10 years prior. America had crossed some lines, religious boundaries, regarding to buildings that were very important to the religion of Islam, and the group leader of Al Qaeda, Osama, did not really like that at all. The leader of Al Qaeda, Osama, also did not like U.S.'s alliance with Israel as they were fighting over with land with Palestine. So that was another reason for the hostility between the two. Next, I will be going over how U.S. benefited off the war with Iraq. So one of the big things was Iraq's oil. U.S. exported a lot of Iraq's oil. The president of Iraq says $150 billion worth of oil has been stolen from Iraq. That's a lot, and some people claim that that was a big reason as to why Iraq was invaded in the first place. Big oil executives in the U.S. also have a big say in the Iraqi government. So another thing that was upgraded was reinforcement security, Homeland, TSA. There was a lot more upgrades and a bigger need for checking into stuff like Homeland or Homeland Security and the overall protection of the average American citizen and the background checks. Here you see pictured TSA. This is just one of the big things that post 9/11 to just make sure we can avoid anything like hijacking planes or whatnot. The next thing I will be going over is how Iraq was affected by the war. Many Iraqis faced pretty bad conditions. A lot of them were displaced from their homes due to the war going on, and a lot of them faced severe, really, really bad hunger. Over 200,000 civilians were killed in Iraq. This is not army or soldiers, this was just civilians. Another hit that Iraq took was a hit to the religion. The history, like the main religion in Iraq was Islam, and that was kind of viewed negatively post 9/11 and post Iraq war. There was a lot more attacks on Islam religions in the Western countries, And yeah, that's another thing that they had to deal with. So in conclusion, we went over the war in Iraq and how America got it, why America got into the war, how they benefited, and how Iraq was affected. And yeah, I think that y'all should be informed by this topic just due to how important it is and how it could affect you in the near future if you're on the wrong side of history. Thank you.